this is John for MTG Nexus coming at you with a Legacy donation deck list from Foz. That is correct, we will be playing Legacy today instead of Modern. This is Enchantress. Now, Enchantress is a deck named after the cards Argothian Enchantress and both Enchantress's Presence, both of which are cards that basically draw cards every time a cast and then cast. Basically every time you cast an enchantment spell, you draw a card. This is a deck that is a kind of prison combo deck of sorts in the Legacy format. There's enough unique effects. You'll sometimes see this kind of stuff in like the prison decks in Modern, but with a less powerful engines than this deck has, as both Enchantress's Presence and Argothian Enchantress, neither of which are legal in Modern. This is not the first time we've played Enchantress on the channel. A while back, probably, I don't even know, 8 months, a year ago, Foz donated for us to see this one. This one was a little bit different. It had a Living Wish package in the sideboard. It had Estrid's Invocation, which would copy any enchantments on the battlefield, and then it had like Doomwake Giant to help clear out small creatures from our opponent's deck. It was a lot of the same things, a lot of the same powerful cards that we're going to be talking about here in a minute. But obviously, I'm not a Legacy aficionado, so we played it. Didn't go great, but like this one has like In the Eyes of Chaos and so many other different things going on. Had the Living Wish package, which was nice. We had the Emrakul to finish off the game. And then you had the Green Sun Zenith package in the main deck, and then some interaction in the form of Oblivion Ring and Cast Out. We are foregoing a lot of this Living Wish nonsense going on for a little bit more of a streamlined deck. There's a lot of different cards in this one, but I think the big gain is Klothys, God of Destiny. Now, like I said, I have not played a ton of Legacy, but having watched some people like Francisco, who does FPU, well, whatever, he usually does Amulet in Modern, but he also does quite a bit of Legacy content. He was very impressed with Klothys, God of Destiny, and it's just kind of a closeout card in a lot of situations against a lot of decks in the format. And with the Abundant Utopia, Sprawl, Wild Growth combination this deck often has, it's not unheard of to drop a Klothys on turn 2, but that's kind of the new card, along with new closing abilities in both Banefire and Emrakul the Promised End. As I said, this deck eventually generates an absurd amount of mana, and very easy to cast an Emrakul or a Banefire in the late game. But beyond that, to get to that point, you are using things like Utopia, Sprawl, and Wild Growth, as well as Abundant Growth to both fix your mana and to increase the amount of enchantments you have on the battlefield. You're frequently getting Argothian Enchantress with your Green Sun Zenith or casting Enchantress's Presence, drawing a bunch of cards. You also have Setessan Champion, which whenever enchantment enters the battlefield under control, put a +1/+1 counter on champion and draw a card. Now, this is a little bit vulnerable to something like Bolt and such in the format, but when you have so many other ways to protect them with things like Sterling Grove and such. And then you also have Destiny Spinner, which means creatures and enchantment controls can't be countered. So there's a whole lot of interesting new tech in this particular version. And then obviously Sterling Grove also enables you to go and fetch other enchantments out of your deck. On Thin Ice kind of takes the place of some of the other removal we had. This is good for slowing down a key creature on the early turns. And to that end, we're also playing a bunch of Snowlands along with Prismatic Vistas. Additionally, in the mana base, you have a Hall of Heliod's Generosity, which allows you to rebuy enchantments. Oftentimes, you can go like Solitary Confinement. You can sacrifice this unless you discard a card, but with Hall of Generosity and Solitary Confinement, you can just kind of keep looping them in a ending way there. But the other side of that is you generally want an Enchantress going here so you can draw cards to continue to discard the Solitary Confinement. We'll get back to Solitary Confinement in a minute. And then you have like your duels. You have Savannah, you have Taiga, to be able to cast your spells, especially your Klothyses and your Calyx here, as well as Sterling Grove. And then you have a couple utility lands. You have a Caracas here, which allows you to bounce legendary permanents back to you. Legendary creatures back to their owner's hands. This is pretty good against like Reanimator or Show and Tell. Being able to stop their creatures is nice. Serra's Sanctum. This is kind of how you close out the game a little bit in terms of like once you have a bunch of enchantments on the battlefield, Serra's Sanctum taps for a bunch of mana and allows you to cast, Lethal Banefires and Emrakul's the Promised End is kind of way you close out the game. In addition to Klothys now, and then finally you have your other enchantments, your utility enchantments like Exploration, allowing you to play an additional land a turn. Miri's Guile. This is basically Sensei's Divining Top, the scry, the look at the top cards of your deck ability only during your upkeep, so this allows you to like the best 3 cards at the top of your deck. And then if you happen to have, you only have a few fetch lands in this deck, but if you happen to find them, it does give you the ability to kind of, refresh the top of your deck. And then you also have Sterling Grove, which I mentioned earlier, gives your other enchantment Shroud, as well as being able to sack to go get another enchantment out of your deck. And then Destiny Spinner, we already kind of covered this one, make sure things uncounterable. And, you have your acceleration package here. And then you have Calyx, which is an interesting one. This one allows you to look for enchantments off the top of your deck. Look at the top 4, take an enchantment or land, not just an enchantment. And then you can exile target creature enchantment you don't control until target enchantment you control leaves the battlefield. Basically, this allows you to exile things unless an enchantment leaves the battlefield. So say, you have a Klothys on the battlefield, you can Calyx things underneath of it, and pretty good chance Klothys will never be leaving the battlefield unless it turns into a creature. And finally, -7 return all enchantment cards from the graveyard to the battlefield. Gotta be mindful of this one that you don't like draw your entire deck, but that is certainly something that can come back in the mid to late game as a nice way to kind of close out the game. And Green Sun Zenith kind of tie it all together to get your extra copies of your Enchantress, your Destiny Spinners, your Cetessan Champions, even go get a Klothys in certain spots. So, very interesting main deck. Once again, your main thing is to try to have a mana acceleration on one, and then get ahead on the board and start casting your enchantments, kind of snowball from there. Sideboard is an interesting mix of cards. You have Humility. This is just a good way to shut down opposing creature decks. Arasta of the Endless Web. This is pretty good against anybody casting a bunch of spells. I don't know that's particularly good against something like Storm, but like against Delver and stuff, giving a bunch of 1/2 creatures with reach seems pretty good against a deck that's trying to win with a 3/2 flyer. Knight of Autumn comes in when you need a way to blow up enchantments and artifacts. 2 copies of Choke because, blue decks are a thing. Oblivion Ring, pretty good when you need to remove problematic permanents, planeswalkers. This deck is going to be doing a lot of attacking in the early turns, so being able to remove like a Liliana of the Veil or Jace the Mind Sculptor can be nice for a turn or two, buy you enough time to get your engine set up. 3rd copy of Destiny Spinner when you need more uncounterability, as well as an alternative win con. Target land becomes XX, Trample and Haste until turn with some enchantments. Gaddock T, because that really hits a lot of decks, although it does hit some things in our deck, most notably Zenith and Banefire. Also can't cast Calyx under it, but this does hit a lot of combo decks, whether it be Sneak and Show, whether it be Storm and such, hits a lot of their key cards. Seal of Primordium, once again another thing with Knight of Autumn to blow up problematic enchantments and artifacts. On the Nice, when you need a little bit more creature control against the early creature rushes and turns, whether it be like Goblins or Merfolk or Delver, etc. 2 copies of Alpine Moon when you have any type of problematic lands out of your opponent. And then 2 copies of Veil of Summer when you just need to make stuff uncounterable in addition to your other uncounterability packages in the main deck, mainly centering around Destiny Spinner. So, once again, I am not a Legacy expert. I don't expect this league to go particularly fantastic, but we're here to test out some cards for Foz. And I want to give a huge shout out to each one of our donation deck list people, mainly Foz and Space Marine on this channel. If you like modern control stuff, Space Marine's often the reason we're playing modern control on a otherwise mostly mid-range and aggro channel. So, that said, let us hop into this league and see how it goes. We're back here for match number 1. I think this hand's a keep. Cetessan Champion's a little bit awkward. And if this Utopia Sprawl doesn't resolve, we're in a lot of trouble, but I think this hand is reasonable enough, so sure upon good luck, and here we go. Oh, okay, so we're dead. Might be the Gruda combo deck. It's the only thing that Ancient Tomb and Lion's Eye Diamond screams to me. Yep. Getting... Nope. Karn. Interesting. Okay, what is Karn grabbing? Michelson the Lattice. Well, shite. Guess we try to get the champion down and hope that's good enough to pressure Karn. Legacy, it's definitely a interesting format. Yep. Turn 2 Karn, turn 3 Lattice. Yep, seems good. Alright, that was fun. That was fun. So I want Seal of Primordium. Gaddock Teeb doesn't seem horrible here. Knight of Autumn doesn't seem terrible. Maybe some copies of Oblivion Ring. Clothis seems a little against a deck that doesn't really put a whole lot in the graveyard. Don't really know a ton of what our opponent's got going on. Maybe they're the Bomberman deck. I'm not really sure what our opponent's game plan is here. These 4, I guess Destiny Spinner can go, because it doesn't really seem like we're going to be facing against a whole lot of counter spells. I guess our opponent could have Chalice. How relevant is Chalice against us, though? Maybe leaving 1 Sterling Grove, because I don't think our opponent's going to be targeting a lot of our stuff. And then maybe go down the Banefire? Maybe I'm supposed to go down Emrakul. Leave Banefire in as... yeah, whatever. Something to be on the play. We have Explore, but no second land. That sounds awkward, but I think with the Utopia Sprawl we keep it. It still is a little awkward. Could potentially have afforded to cut an Elephant Grass or 2 to bring in more cards. Just because they're probably not going to be attacking us a lot. Once again, this could be like Bomberman combo. But, I mean, it's really hard, you know, just... opponent keeps 7 and goes turn 2 Karn, turn 3 Lattice. Really kind of hard to fight through that. So, grab a basic forest. And what is more in our deck? White spells or red spells? I guess white, technically, because of Galactique and such, so... It's also possible I was supposed to name green there, but most of our lands produce green, so... Okay. Sure. Probably getting played next turn anyway, so... I wonder if this is the artifact deck that Foz wants me to play for the other donation deck list. Force of Will? Wow, what a deck. Okay, was not expecting Force of Will out of deck. We saw Triple Ancient Tomb Karn in game number 1, but sure. Yeah. Trigger this, to draw some lands, we do not. So, pass the turn. Yeah, I'm not attacking with my O1 into anything. I say this deck has 21 lands. It's not like we're Elephant Grass, sure. It's got all the mana in the world. Karn would be really bad for us. Nope, Narset. Okay. Force of Will. Can they currently cast that? 1, 2, 3, 4. They cannot. Unless they draw a blue card this turn, I suppose. Ah, Narset screwing our card draw. Delightful. Oh, Legacy. Echo of Aeons. And our opponent just gets to Echo of Aeons us into oblivion here. Yes. We draw one card. And we concede the game. Oh man. That was irony. Back here for match number 2 with Foz's new Enchantress build. We have Utopia Sprawl, we have Enchantress. Pretty sure this is a keep. I'm white this... No, I guess we need red this time around. Because we already have the snow-covered plains. Goes Pluto Delta, Volcanic Island into Delver. Right, got a Delverino going here. So, case our opponent has days here, I'm going to do this. Obviously, if they have Force of Will, this is probably getting forced. Around days to the best of our ability. Sterling Grove's interesting. I don't know that's particularly good here. Could we even get... I guess we could get On Thin Ice to deal with that at some point. Delver did not flip, which is good for us. Ponder, which means Delver's probably flipping next turn. Question is, am I supposed to play Cetessan Champion or am I supposed to play Sterling Grove next turn? No easy, quick answer for this one. Chose to shuffle and Wasteland. You know what you're not going to have targets for in this deck? Wasteland. I guess Sanctum and stuff eventually will potentially do the thing. So, once again, playing around. Days to the best of our ability. Just run out Cetessan Champion. They have Bolt, they have Bolt. I'm not attacking with this, so stop asking me. Did shuffle with Ponder, correct? Okay, flip with Force of Negation. That's mildly annoying, but, you know. I think the bigger consideration is not dying with this Delver for now. Force of Negation. What kind of tech do we have for this deck on the sideboard? Maybe Humility, definitely the Chokes, probably the Veils and the Destiny Spinner. Peasy, sure. Peasy isn't easy. So that would force them to Force of Negation this. I guess they can't Force of Negation this technically. Destiny Spinner, another Enchantress. Trigger that. Topia Sprawl. Think once again. We'll just play this. Give it trample and haste. Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, that's annoying. Not surprising, but that's annoying. That hits us for 5 here. What could we zenith for, of all things? I guess we could zenith for Clothis eventually. So likely force a force of negation out of their hand. They have a daze. I don't particularly care here. So next turn we're going to answer the Delver, and then the game should be pretty close to academic from there if they don't have an answer to On Thin Ice next turn. Six. Puts us in double bolt range, but they are down a bolt already. That gives them a wasteland target. Do I particularly care here? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Trigger. Cards. card. I think we got to go for solitary confinement and hope they don't have a spell pierce or daze or anything. Well, daze we can play around, I suppose. Brainstorm, sure. Is it actually going to resolve? It does. Alright. Yep. So dumb that this can still attack. Alright, and there are pumpkins. It's nice. Alrighty. So against Delverino, we probably want Destiny Spinner. Chokes. Veils, probably. On Thin Ice. And all this stuff going on. Calyx is probably a little slow against them. Clothis seems fine, but a little awkward. Probably want Arasta, I mean. Question is, what other cards do we cut here? Presence Champion, Destiny Spinner, Enchantresses, Sterling Groves. I guess they don't particularly target our enchantments. Like, they might have bounce spells, I suppose, but don't know that we particularly care. Maybe leave one in. Down like one, Miri's Guile. Can we cut Nemrical or Banefire because of the Arasta? Feels like maybe Banefire. And then like one Abundant Growth. Try it like that. I think Abundant Growth over like Utopia Sprawl or Wild Growth because we definitely want the accelerators. Taiga is a little awkward in this hand. I still think we keep this hand because we have Utopia Sprawl plus Enchantress, but Taiga could definitely be awkward against the Wasteland deck. Delverino. Alright, Sanctum's obviously awkward, but is what it is. Like I said, if they've got days, they've got days. Not really a whole lot we can do about it. Guess we name red. Doesn't seem like they have days. They could easily have Force of Will or Negation in their hand. Okay, they do have Force of Will. Do they have a Wasteland? They do have a Young PZ, so the clock is real this game. Not that it wasn't last game too, but okay, I guess we play Taiga to force them to play around days. This will force them to Force of Will this. Just let it go. Okay, so play Elephant Grass because I don't actually expect this to either resolve or alright, sure. Yep, Wasteland by bad here. But not that I expected anything different from the Delver deck. Do they pay 2 here to attack with Delver? Feels like they have to. Yep. Nope. Bought a turn, drew us a card. I guess we go with Presence here. See, that's a nice one. But we are going to be under a lot of pressure, so I don't know. One, two, three, 4 mana. So bolt my face, or just Dark Darkness. Cool. Well, they have Force in hand. Let's grab another Forest here. It's likely they have a blue card in hand, right? You still have to slam Solitary. Preordain. Okay, there's Abundant Growth. Dryad Arbor. How dead am I? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So do that, do this. Likely pretty dead this turn, but, you know, force them to have it, I suppose. Alright. And scoop it up. Don't think this is a humility matchup. This is, again, it could be correct to bring in humility, could be correct to leave in Banefire. Yeah. There's a lot of things that could be correct, but I'm not entirely sure against 8 with this deck once again. I know you want to establish an early mana advantage. I know you want to get an early Enchantress into play. Beyond that, like... Like game 1, obviously we were able to lock them out. Game 2, they were... Still think they should have forced the Enchantress. Wild Growth. Yeah, I guess we keep this hand. Once again, this hand is a bit risky in terms of mana production, but we gotta do what we gotta do, so... Probably can't afford to force this, so... Do you have a Delver on one? Of course you do. Play around. I think we just grab... Maybe that was incorrect there. To crack that fetch. I know we're... It's not... I don't think Delver decks, many of them play Stifle right now, but, you know, I just prefer to play around Stifle as much as possible. Lightning Bolt, sure. Teamer Delver. They generally play... Okay, that's definitely not a Delver deck. That is a Clothis Oko midrange deck. Do you seriously have Young Peasy 2 games in a row? Cindervines. Sure. That's certainly a card. Take a damage, which is just bad for us, obviously, but let's grab another forest, I guess. Trigger, trigger, trigger. Sanctum's pretty decent here. So I guess we name red, since we no longer need the things and stuff. So we can Zenith for the Spider next turn. Probably our best bet. Spider, play Elephant Grass. Seems like the Zenith for 4 will draw out a counterspell of some kind. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oko. Okay. Sure. Teamer Oko Delver. So the Spider gets considerably worse here. What else do we have in our deck to wish for? How much mana can we produce currently? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do that to play around days as best we can here. Go to 8. Go to 7. Draw a card. Draw a card. Can we Emrakul next turn? I don't think so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4 enchantments in play. Blow this up, hit us for 6. Yeah, I think we're dead this turn. Sure. We block with this here, but then if they have bolt, we're dead. Rest would have been the draw next turn. On to the next match. Alright, we're back with match number 3 with Enchantress here in Legacy. Be on the play and have a really awkward hand, and I think is a mulligan. We have Dryad Arbor as our only green source. No acceleration, so this is going to be a mulligan. This hand has Wooded Foothills and Dryad Arbor. Has Abundant Growth. I don't think this hand's great, but I do think we keep it and put back Dryad Arbor because it's just such a bad card to draw. Going to play Miri's Guile first, gives us the best chance of hitting our land drops. And I'm curious what's going to happen. Are we about to get Force of Willed? Because that'd be really bad for us. Okay, Blue to Delta, go. I'd like to use this ability, yes. That. That. And then that. They have Daze or Force of Will. They have Daze or Force of Will. We're not beating it anyway, so looks like we're about to get dazed. What is a brainstorm looking for a Force of Will? Okay. So likely another Delver strategy. growth on that. Clothis. Notably, they don't have a Delver start, so I mean, I guess it's possible they're not a Delver deck, but Daze usually indicates, at least in my limited Legacy experience, usually indicates a Delver. And Peasy. I think I just play Clothis here, try to play around. Do I just Destiny Spinner and hope they don't have a Bolt? I feel like I just want the lands, though, unfortunately. Do you have a Force of Will? For 3 here. Arcanist. Yes. Vista, Destiny Spinner. Grab a white source here. If they have another Daze, which I don't think they do. Okay. Guess it's somewhat dangerous to turn on Clothis here. If they could have Dismember in their deck. I don't think they do, but it's certainly a possible card. Sure. Okay, Wasteland's kind of useless. And they do get to attack with Dreadhorde Arcanist here. Decide if we want to put that. Yes. How close are we to an Emrakul? Probably quite a ways away, so we don't do that, that. Do this. Definitely paying 1 here. Basic forest here, once again, playing around. Using stuff, no reason to attack. This cliff is clearly ain't getting through all these tokens, so. Sure. Attack with Dreadhorde Arcanist. I am snap blocking. I don't particularly care. Okay, they're not Brainstorm locked, which is unfortunate. It's Brainstorm. It's Brainstorm. Delver, sure. I'd like to use this ability, yes. Don't get the feeling that any other spells will be resolving this game, so daze really doesn't particularly matter. Okay. Interesting that they'd brainstorm. Oh, I guess they brainstorm locked themselves last turn, so they knew what the top card of their library was. Does that make more sense then? Blocks, obviously. Scans, set the triggers. Guile resolve first. Green Sun's Zenith. What can I Zenith for that I would even care about here? Really don't think anything. Elephant grass. And phase trigger. Go ahead and do your brainstorm. This probably won't resolve, but you know. It's brainstorm. It's brainstorm. Force of will. Sure. Shave or turn off my clock. Seems good. Skin. Leave Clothis back on D. Dismember? That would be very unfortunate. Oh, no, Grimaggar, sure. I was like, Dismember would be really, really bad for us. Sure. Guile, Taiga, GSC. Guess it doesn't particularly matter what we take here. And leave that on top. 1, 2. 4. Elephant grass. Put you to 2 for the Taiga and pass turn. And unless you have some type of miracle upside your Grixis sleeve, I think you're dead here. Doesn't particularly matter. Fatal push. Yep. GG, friend. GG. Opponent realizes they are dead. Alright, so Grixis does. Grixis Death Shadow. Grixis Delver. Alright, so Teamer Delver. I guess technically it would be Luris Delver, even though it's not really Luris anymore. We are up against CBL James, no recent Decklist finishes. However, Spell Bombs, Pyroblasts, and Grass Revenge, Plague Engineers, so probably want Chokes, probably want that one, probably want that, might want Veil of Summers, Want the Nice seems reasonable, Humility, so I'm not sure if we're supposed to be bringing in Humility in these spots or not. Calyx can probably go out. Banefire can probably go out. One Clothis can probably go out. At least one Sterling Grove can probably go. We're still sitting at 64. Maybe shave a champion. I'm really not sure in these situations, like how much I'm supposed to be playing with counter spells, how much I should be doing other things. Just bring in one Veil for now, since we already have so much anti-counterspell nonsense anyway. Scrolling Grove. Doesn't feel like Grixis deck is going to have a lot to target actual enchantments. It is nice to be able to search for, you know, different things, but this hand is a little awkward. Obviously, we have some very powerful hitters, like turn 1 Utopia Sprawl and a turn 2 Choke would be awesome, but obviously our opponent's probably going to have something to say about that, right? The question is, do I just leave on Abundant Growth turn 1? Yeah, I think play around days will lead on Abundant Growth here. If our opponent wants to set themselves back a land drop to do certain things, I think I'm fine with that. Okay. Yeah, Pyromancer is guard. Taiga's awkward. Still think we play it, but it is awkward. So, white, I guess, for now. Okie dokie. So I guess we go Destiny Spinner into Choke next turn. Yeah, that's a card. Wasteland's annoying, but whatever. One, two, three, four. Destiny Spinner. Okay. Gonna get wastelanded, which that's fine, I suppose. One, two, three, four damage. That's annoying, but whatever. Get a forest here. Would I just go for Clothis here? I don't think so. How much mana do we have here? Everything's a 1/1. Card. Deal with that one. Obviously, if they have, don't think they have days. So, I think if they have days, they already would have used it to return a land to their hand. So. I think we're dead to a bolt anyway, so... Want a forest... Okay, so Enchantress. Hopefully they don't have another Force of Will, but if they do, they do. Trigger, draw a card, wait. Sure. Kind of awkward. I think we're actually going to be dead here. Because I can't actually cast a white spell. Sure. Surgical extraction. That seems a bit extreme. Trigger. Okay. Yep. So if they have a bolt, we're dead. So let's start attacking. No, it really doesn't particularly matter. And bolt. Do you have the bolt? Instead, you're going to cast Preordain. Sure. Cast Choke again. Destiny Spinner, sure. Draw a card. Get another 1/1. Clothis. Okay, red. Green. Do you have an answer to Clothis? Fortunately, not exactly the best card in the thing with humility, but c'est la vie. Draw a bolt, we're dead. If you draw a bolt, we're dead. If you draw a bolt, we're dead. Trigger. Yes. Destiny Spinner. Triggers. Good thing Enchantress. Another useless land. What can I have Zenith for? I guess we got a Dryad Arbor. Just have another 1/1. You want to trade off 1/1s? No, 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 no. Really, the answer is no. My vicious army of 1/1s. Hurrah, hurrah. Okay, do this. And that. Wild growth. Triggers. Probably draw a land. Go to combat. Swing the farm. Sure. Sure. Enchantress. Or civilian Enchantress. Okay. Did you draw the bolt yet, friend? They play Wasteland. Let's just, at this point, we're going to just let, whatchamacallit go. Oop. Destiny Spinner, draw some cards. Wild growth. Exploration. Play exploration, draw some cards. Draw land. Draw a Mirror's Gal. Play Savannah. Play wild growth on that. Tapping this. Trigger me this, Batman. Okay, so what is this tap for exactly? Green, blah, 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 blah. Let's test some champion. Wild Grove, triggers. Elephant Grass just for funsies. Because I really don't want to get hit randomly by a Snapcaster Mage or something stupid. So. And. Veil of Summer for funsies. Although I don't think it's going to stop a bolt if they draw it. So. Draw a bolt. Okay. And we got there. Nice. Back for match number 4. We're on play. We have an Enchantress. We have a Wild Growth. Yeah, hand seems pretty good. Lead on Prismatic Vista cracking for probably just a regular forest. I'm trying to think why we were running Stone Lands for a second, then I remember that we're running on thin ice. So I just snapped resolves. Alright. Okay. Some type of depth stick. Just curious, I'm supposed to jam Cloth this next turn, or a Growth Enchantress. Should probably look up the depth decks to see what all crap they're running right now. Probably just run Enchantress out here. Snow-covered forest. Put a red source on here. Decks, metagames, legacy. It's most likely against Dark Depths. They do in fact play Lotus Petals. They have Force of Vigors in their sideboard, which will be problematic. Abrupt Decay will be annoying. Okay, Swamp. Yeah, they play a Swamp. Dark Ritual, sure-ish. Karn's annoying. Okay, I have no idea what's going on now. Like obviously, if they lattice us, it's terrible, but 1, 2, 3. Okay. Sure. Really not a whole lot going on here. Probably just take Clothis. It's like the card that's the most problematic. Wishclaw Talisman. Alright. So only they get to wish for something and then we can't activate it. Nifty. Green, I guess. White. Just green. Trigger. It's a lot of mana next turn. Opponent fortunately will not have a lot of mana, but do we just cast Confinement next turn? Which Claw Talisman will take up their entire turn, it looks like. You have Shroud. Prevent all damage. In some ways, I want this game to go a few turns just because I want to know, like, what my opponent's doing. So, what could I even Zenith for next turn? Could Zenith for the Clothis, which would be very much turned on. Okay, sure. Okay, opponent doing things and stuff. Snaring Bridge. Sure. Ish. Sterling Grove. Trigger. It's what? Creature or enchantment. It doesn't do a ton in this spot. Play a forest out. Play a wild growth. Trigger. Okay. How much mana does this tap for? Green, so 5 mana still. So what would I even be looking for with Calyx? Not really a whole lot going on, so tap for white. Play Solitary Confinement. Trigger. Exploration. Play Exploration. Trigger. Okay, there's our win con next turn. Play Sterling Grove. No, can do, I guess. So I'm gonna play this out. Crack this for a forest. Play the forest. Play Sterling Grove. Trigger. Put that into play. All my crap has Shroud except for it. And then move to discard, I guess. Pitching Enchantress, that. Champion and Elfincrest, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. His Fireball lethal next turn? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I think it's lethal this next turn. Okay, sure. Dun 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 dun. Fireball. Unless you discard a card. You have Talisman. Activate Talisman. Well, it gains control, but really doesn't do a whole lot of good, right? Choose to Fireball you. At least in post-board games, we get to bring in like Oblivion Rings and some stuff. And it really didn't matter what you did this turn, because we're just going to kill you. And I'm going to pitch a mountain. Let's pitch Heliod's here. So do that. Tap this for mana. Do red. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sarah Sanctum. Go ahead and it's been fun. Bam. Okie dokie. Oblivion Rings seem good. Light of Autumn seems reasonable. Galactique, maybe. Seal Primordium seems important. So we thought saw Thespian stage out of them. Does that mean we want Alpine Moon? Because it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities for them to have Dark Depths in their deck. So Calyx can come out. Gonna leave On Thin Ice in. Destiny Spinners can probably come out. Get rid of one Clothis. Definitely want to leave all the in. Bringing in the rings, so I guess we can go down that. And then we have outs to Chalice, should they be a Chalice deck. Which seems kind of unlikely, but possible, I suppose. And then we'll go down at least one other card. What would it be? Digivolve to Champion. growth, I guess. Ding, 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 ding. Oblivion Ring. Yeah, I think this is hands a keep. To go turn 1 Wild Growth, turn 2 Enchantress's Presence, and then kind of go from there. Obviously, if our opponent is a Dark Depths deck, they might have the combo lined up on turn 2 or turn 3, but, you know, we don't know for sure they're Dark Depths, but the, whatchamacallit, Thespian Stage made me think they were Dark Depths. Okay, I still have Thespian Stage on 1. So, we'll do this. Go. Now we're left with a little bit of a mana awkwardness with, okay, so they are confirmed Dark Depths. How do we stop this combo? I think we're just dead on turn 2. Is there anything we can do to stop that combo? Not really. I mean, I suppose Elephant Grass would be good. Do we even have a way to draw a card right now? I think let's act as if we aren't about to die. Although I do think we are about to die, so, you know, things and stuff. Things and stuff for 100, Alex. Yeah, they can't risk us having Collector Oof there. Yep. Teague, Dryad Arbor, and we're dead on turn 3. Cool. So we can confirm they are Dark Depths deck. I guess we bring in Humility. Like, Humility isn't great in terms of quickness. On thin ice. Don't see it being relevant. And beyond that, I guess we can go down a copy of Sterling Grove just because they are looks to be a mono black deck, mono black Dark Depths with like some type of Karn prison element thrown in. Love to see an Alpine Moon here. Alpine Moon confirmed. Okay, just gonna keep his hand. His hand does not do a lot. Like, legit, we just have the way to stop the combo. That's it. We got mana. We got another way to stop the combo. Hopefully we'll draw on something else. I don't know. Like, his hand's a keep in terms of just stopping the combo, but we'll get into 6. I think we named Thespian Stage with it, but no reason to alert them to the fact that we have answers to their stuff. Herborg, sure. Topia Sprawl. Rest of our hand literally does nothing. Play Caracas next turn, and barring a Wasteland, that should insulate us from any other type of shenanigans. So, well, ironically, we also have the Caracas plus Emrakul combo to take infinite turns, should we ever get to that point. Yeah, got an LED. Okay. Dark Ritual, sure. Mage, Infernal Tutor. Okay. Please just grab Hex Mage. I mean, that's a little scary. How does Ill-Gotten Gains read? Okay. Caracas, that. Okay, I'm still... Are we just dying here to some type of storm shenanigans? Feels like we're dying to some weird storm loop that I've never seen before. Okay, put in his Ancient Tomb. LED and Infernal Tutor, I think. And one unknown. Fetch land, at least kind of starts us on the beatdown plan. Okay. Sure. Currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana in play. Sure. Sure. Go grab which claw talisman, I guess. I don't even know. Yep. Feels weird that they have the ill-gotten gains loop, but like no painter servant. Okay. Do you have grindstone to get to? Sure. Okay. Sure. Knight of Autumn here. Destroy target. That. Pass turn, and what you got? All right, 2 and 2. Back for the 5th and final match with Enchantress. Wow. Yeek. So if our opponent plays Wasteland, we're screwed. If they don't play Wasteland, this hand seems fine. So go ahead and give it a try. Here he's got a terrible draw. Caracas. So death and taxes seems really bad for us. Death and taxes confirmed. Dryad Arbor's a little wonky here. Land drops would be great. Yep. How does this matchup go? They can Swords Dryad Arbor if they really want to. No blocks. Alright, so decks. Okay, port's annoying. Flicker Wisp, flicker out of land. Yay! So 3-4 mana here. Reality is like 2 mana. Enchantress. Heal through the turn. Swing 5. Yeah, I forgot how obnoxious a card Flicker Wisp is. Sure. Trigger. Yep. Hmm. 2, 5, 6, 10. Good old-fashioned death and stupid. I don't like its weaker cousin in Modern, and I don't think I like its cousin in Legacy here either. Probably want Knight of Autumn. On Thin Ice isn't great, but it might be okay. Seal of Primordium would be a consideration against Vile and the equipment maybe, but I don't know how many actual stuff like that I want. Clothis is a little slow. Can probably always shape Destiny Spinners. So do I want Oblivion Rings, Clothis, Aresta? It's not casting instants or sorceries. Guess we're going to ring or two. Keep this one a little bit risky, but okay, draw our second land. Crocus into Mother of Runes, sure. That exploration out of our hand in case they have Athalia here. Yep, we got another Mom. Troops Factory. Do we even have anything here? I guess we have to Dryad Arbor, which feels kind of bad in the face of or Swords to Plowshares. But we need to make land drops somehow, so. There's a wasteland. Yep. Could crack that for like some type of thing, but I don't think it's quite worth it here. So just let them tap the land. It's mildly unfortunate. Death and taxes, doing death and taxes things. just gonna go for the Mother of Runes beatdown thing. Okay. May as well use the mana while we can. Trigger that. There's Guile, not a terrible one. Making land drops more likely to happen for us, at least. Yep. Sure. Looking for something good here. So, do that. Solitary. Can get both Presence and Sprawl down this turn. 2, 3. Also, Oblivion Ring this turn, take down Thalia. No, I think we're actually going to take down Thalia because Thalia is taxing everything just enough. so we actually don't have enough mana here, so we're dead. So I wasn't taking the Thalia tax into consideration here. I guess I can sack Sterling Grove and go grab Elephant Grass this turn. Why are you not hitting auto pass? You're like literally doing nothing here. Sterling Grove put it on top of our deck. Card on top. Okay, so we're dead. Cool. RTFC, John. RTFC. Alright, back in a sec with the wrap-up. So, short wrap-up on this, as I'm kind of getting a little bit tired and a little bit loopy. Deck's pretty sweet. I probably mishandled something somewhere in the Death and Taxes matchup, and maybe the first Delver matchup. But we got to beat Delver, we got to beat that mono black Dark Depths combo deck with Karn and stuff. I really kind of leave it up to Foz whether the changes are really worth things. I think Klothys was pretty nice in some spots. Calyx really didn't have a chance to evaluate him all that well. Sterling Grove seemed fine. Yeah. Deck functions what it's supposed to do. I'm by no means a Legacy and or Enchantress master, so maybe there were some hands there that I should have mulliganed. Really kind of hard to say. So the deck was sweet. The new cards definitely shined in some spots. Klothys won us a couple of games. Banefire won us a game that normal creatures wouldn't have done. And yeah, sideboard cards. Alpine Moon came up big. I think we pretty much boarded in everything at some point. So pretty well balanced sideboard overall. Deck seems well built. Just seems like it's a bit of a complicated puzzle to pilot sometimes, and should have read Sterling Grove before I activated it. So, anywho, this has been John for MTG Nexus with a donation deck list from Foz in Legacy with Enchantress. So, thanks to Foz for the donation, and the deck was pretty fun to play. This has been John for MTG Nexus.